Mr. Jagdeep Kapoor is the founder, chairman, and managing director of Samsika Marketing Consultants, which is a leading brand strategic marketing consultant and has worked with both multinational and Indian firms. It is currently in its 27th year of consultancy, and he's widely respected as a brand guru. He's also a prolific writer and has published a whopping 1,800 plus articles in all the leading newspapers and magazines of India. He's also an author of many bestsellers, some of which are 24 brand mantras, 24 brand mantras Hindi edition, brand serve, 18 brand astras, 9 brand shastras, both in Hindi and English, brand switch, and other books. Sir, over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for those kind words. So let me begin. And I am going to begin and share with you a chart, a process, a methodology of how you can build a very strong brand in the development, redevelopment, builder, construction, community, and domain. I've had the good fortune of working with a number of developer owners, and some of which you would have heard of, Hiranandani Constructions, Oberoi Realty, Kanakya, Great Eastern, and many more, almost about 22 developer owners across the country, and even an international level, which is Berkshire Home Services, which is a Warren Buffett company, which has just entered India. And so it's been a good experience with developer owners. And what I'm going to share today with you is going to be something related to how do you build your brand? How do you actually go about building absolutely good reputation and be able to get better price realization. So I'm going to begin by saying, why do you build a brand? You build a brand to build a business. And you build a business to satisfy consumers and to be able to make a profit. But there's a process, and there's a proprietary process which I'm going to share with you. And in case there is any interaction, I would be happy to answer. So what I need is the next 20 minutes of undivided attention. If you can give that, then maybe at the end of it, you could go ahead and build a very solid brand. You are all developers. Many of you developer owners, many of you redevelopers, and you all develop something called land. Well, I am also a developer, and I develop something called brand. Land is very, very important. Just like there is land building, there is also brand building. So we have a lot of stuff in common. So it'll be easy to use the analogy to explain the concepts to you. So I'm going to begin by presenting to you 9 brand shastras of how to build a brand in the construction, development, and the industry, which is one of the fastest growing in India when it comes to land building or in terms of development and redevelopment. Yes, Kamal, can we begin? So the topic I'm taking is build your brand to build your business. Okay. And I must appreciate all dynamic entrepreneurs, developer owners who are a part of CREDAI National. I looked at one word which really made me glad, which was the word youth. So CREDAI National Youth Wing online marathon. So good. My first brand mantra to you is, if your brand is not contemporary, then it is temporary. So make sure your brand is contemporary. I'm very happy to see this youth word here, and I'm sure your thinking will be contemporary. Next. So I welcome all of you. Next. So I'm going to begin by sharing with you 9 brand shastras. And, 30 minutes is a very long time in our industry. Our industry is used to communicate in 30 seconds. As you all know, all ads happen in 30 seconds. So 30 minutes is a luxury. And I intend using 15 minutes out of that for sharing the process and maybe 5 minutes if someone has any question and answer. So I'm presenting to you 9 brand Shaastras, and these are all registered modules. How do you build your brand in this particular industry? Next. The first one is what is called the need Shaastra, wherein you build a brand category growth. The first Shaastra I would recommend is the need Shaastra. Understand the needs of your customers. For example, many years ago, the consumer or an investor, you have all types. A customer could be an investor. A customer could be someone who's buying it to sell it. Customer could be someone who's buying it to rent it. Or it could be an actual user or actual consumer who's buying it to stay in it. It could be a villa, it could be a flat, it could be 1 BHK, 2 BHK, 3 BHK, 4 BHK, or it could be a penthouse, or it could be a bungalow, okay, or a row house. It could even be office space. So whether it's commercial or residential property, property is property. You have to understand the need of the consumer. For example, many years ago, the need of the consumer was that they would like to buy it little by little, slab by slab. As construction is going on, they pay you so much, then the next slab, then they pay you so much. But with the market changing, you had a lot of properties which were under construction, but never got constructed. They remained under construction forever. And that broke the faith a lot of customers and consumers. So there is one segment today who wants to buy ready purchase. Ready purchase. Ye paisa lo, ye flat do. This is the money and give me possession right away. The ready market has grown all across. Earlier you went to a tailor and got your shirt and pant stitched. Now you go and pick up ready-made shirts. Today, a segment wants ready possession. They are willing to pay a premium and take it right now. Needs have changed. I remember there was a need many years ago, which was quite a surprising need. One of my clients, a very famous public limited developer, he came and told me that, Mandi ka time hai, market is down. What do you think should be the strategy? So I said, what is the problem? So he says, we can't sell even 1 BHK flats and money market is tight and real estate is down. So I said, let's understand the need. Then I gave him the strategy that you should start constructing and selling 4 BHK flats. He started laughing. And he says, people can't buy 1 BHK. You are telling me to launch 4 BHK. So I explained to them that 4 BHK, there is a need. But 1 BHK, maybe there is no need. So instead of a joint family living in broken flats or a joint family not being able to afford a villa or a bungalow, they are able to afford a 4 BHK. They are all together and they are willing to pay for it, even a premium. He took the advice, went about it, understood the need, and created a new category many years ago, and they sold like hotcakes. So the first Shastra is the need Shastra, where you build and grow a category. Second, the second Shastra is seed Shastra. Seed Shastra is the seed of an idea. When we say there is a seed of an idea, the most valuable thing is an idea. And therefore, the idea is in a position to be able to enter the mind and heart of consumers. While you build bungalows, you build flats, you build office complexes, you build malls, and you build various commercial and residential properties. And they are built on land. Whereas a brand is built in the mind and heart of consumers. And it is built through an idea, through the positioning that goes into the mind and heart. And that is how you are able to build your reputation. Not by telling lies, not by being dishonest, being pure, transparent, and keeping your promise. But where is the place where this idea resides? Where is this place where the brand is built? Not on land, but in your mind and heart. And therefore, it becomes very, very important for us to be able to understand that brand building happens in the mind and heart of consumers. And therefore, it becomes important to be able to look at an idea. For example, I remember another client who had a huge property of 6 lakh square feet. And he had named it, and I won't give the name, but very famous. He had named it Estates. So the brand name XYZ and Estates. Now that is not something which appeals to people who want residential property, who want their families living there, want a garden, want senior citizens being able to walk, want shopping complexes, hospitals, schools around. It didn't appeal to them. So he said, I don't know why I'm not being able to. I said, first thing is change the name. Keep Estates, but don't keep it just Estates, because people think estates is related to industrial estates, right? And you need to change that. So we told them the idea would be better to be able to call it garden estates. So today, in the residential property area, Oberoi Garden Estates and Oberoi Realty is a huge, huge market, huge brand leader. And what is positioned as the seed of an idea is there's a lot of greenery, which it has, and it will always be seen as green with greenery around. So there's a huge amount of attraction which comes in from actual consumers who are in a position to be able to buy property. And the brand has been growing. You see it not only in terms of its market share, but also in terms of its share market. The third step in brand building, as per my 9 brand Shastras, is the heat Shastra, brand awareness growth. If people are not aware of you, then it's no use. Many years ago, I had written a very clear brand mantra, which is registered, trademarked in my name. And I think many of you have heard of it and many of them use it. Jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai. That's written by me many decades ago, and it is registered in my name as trademark. If you're visible, then people are attracted to you. But if you're invisible, then it's difficult. So if you're visible as a Hiranandani or as an Oberoi Garden, or if you're visible as a Raheja, or visible as Godrej Properties, or you're visible in those particular manners, then people say, hey, this person is visible. And if people know about him, then maybe I need to go and be curious and go and check up a little more about going to their sales office or giving a call or getting them over. But if you're invisible, if you're unknown, then there's a problem. So you need to be able to understand. And in Hindi, I would say, from Anjan, you need to get Jaan Pehchan and then Gyan. From unaware, you need to have awareness, recognition, and recall. And that is the heat Shastra. That doesn't mean that you have to spend crores of rupees on advertising. I'm not an ad agency. I'm a brand marketing strategy consultancy. In fact, we tell people how you can do kam kharcha and jada charcha, because you have to do it in a manner which is a very simple thing. I remember a client coming and wanting to build a school. And they wanted to build a school. And after building the school, they wanted people, they were in the suburbs and they wanted South Bombay crowd to come in. So if they want that to come in, he said, I'm willing to spend 2-3 crores on advertising. I said, you don't need to do that. So I said, what do you mean? I said, let's hire 2 buses, buy 2 buses, school buses. We'll have the AC bus, we'll have curtains drawn, we'll have a nice video and we'll have LCD. And there's a driver with the uniform and a conductor with the uniform. Every morning from the suburbs, Juhu, it would go to South Bombay. And from there, it will come back, the 2 buses. And we built this brand called L'École Mondiale World School. He was from the construction industry. And so at that point of time, he says, but Mr. Kapoor, if I just want to take these buses up and down every day, I said, do it for 3 months. And so he said, there will be no one in the bus. I said, there is no law against an empty bus going up and down. It's a school bus. It's got the name written. It's got the visuals on it. But there will be parents in South Bombay who say, if the school bus is coming here, there must be some South Bombay residents sending their kids to that school. Let us also go to that school. Today, 47% of the school's kids come from South Bombay. So you can do kam kharcha and jada charcha strategically. And it's the way of doing it. Money and signing of a check, anyone can do. But doing it strategically and sensibly, it requires strategy. Let's go to the 4th one. After heat Shaastra, then there has to be action, which is deed Shaastra, brand trials. You need to, like all of you have a sample flat, all of you have the visit to the site, all of you have all that. But the real trials take place when you are able to actually make sure that you make it easy for them to be taken to the site and brought back home without any worry, without any tension, because they must find it easy. And don't worry about that minor expense of being able to take a wonderful luxury car and pick up the family and drop the family back, even if it has to be done multiple times. Because unless they have seen the site, they are not going to make up their mind. Website is important. Site is more important. So the site visit is very critical, and that's the deed Shastra. The next one, the 5th Shastra, is the feed Shastra. This is a very strong Shastra, which is what actually builds brands. The feed Shastra is to do with repeats. It doesn't mean that someone has bought property from you and buys another flat or another commercial complex from you because they trust you and they like you. But it could also mean that they have told their neighbors, they have told their friends, they have told their colleagues that go to this builder, go to this brand. I think you'll be happy. And they go through the process very simply. They are transparent, and we would recommend. So the word of mouth is an extremely important thing. But the word of mouth is incomplete if you don't follow this process, which I'm telling you. Many a times someone comes to your sales office and people forget to ask them, how did you come to know about us? You must ask that question. They could say, oh, we saw you on television, we saw you on newspaper. Or they could even say, my neighbor told me, my friend told me, my family member told me. At that point of time, you must pick up the phone and ring up that person and thank that person, saying, thank you for recommending this person for our brand property. Because before finalizing, that prospective customer is going to ring up at least once more to the one whom he recommended. And at that point of time, if you have not thanked them, he could change his recommendation. But if you've thanked, he'll say, no, you surely go for this brand. I am telling you, because you have already thanked him and you have completed the loop. Small, inexpensive things. The next branch, the 6th one, after you have done need, seed, heed, deed, feed, now comes the time for speed. Speed Shastra. Now you're rolling out. Sales are happening. They're happening at a brisk pace because suddenly there's a ripple effect which is happening. And that speed Shastra you should not be in a position to slow down, because you will have the spread happening. Your brand reputation has started spreading, and so have the sales. One leads to the other leads to many more, and that becomes a strong thing. You can't go to speech Shastra from day one. You have to go through the first 5 steps, then come to the speech Shastra. The next one is a serious one, the 7th one, which is like a speed breaker. That one is called Creed Shastra, credibility. There are a lot of people who use various things like celebrities. But more important than celebrity is credibility, trust. Another word for brand is trust. Because only when there is trust, you are in a position to get trials as well as repeats. So Creed Shastra is like a speed breaker. If you lose a sale, no problem. Don't lose trust, because that is the foundation. Just like you have your foundation of your buildings, of your property, trust is the foundation. That's the Creed Shastra. Let me come to the second last one, the penultimate Shastra, which I use for all my clients and brands. Breed Shastra. Now, you need to have market share growth. Supposing the entire market is growing at 40% and you are growing at 25%, then you will be happy with your growth of 25%, but actually you are losing market share. You actually are losing market share because the market is growing at 40%, you are growing at 25%. You need to keep a track of market share. You need to grow equal to or more than the market. An unrelated example, Indigo has 54% market share in Indian Airlines. And that is why it's growing stronger and stronger. Even if you go to an airport, you'll see more Indigo plays than others. And good service, on time, it's market share growth. And final Shastra is the Exceed Shastra. Sorry for the spelling. There is an error there. It's EXCEED. Exceed Shastra is basically you exceed the expectations of your consumers, and the consumer will exceed your expectations, because you need to do certain things which the consumer doesn't expect. Straightforward, simple, small things, showing the consumer that you care. There is a very simple thing. There are some builder brands who are seen to exceed expectations, and consumers say, oh, this builder brand cares. There are others who don't do this, and the consumer says, this builder brand scares. So either you care or you scare. Scare, you'll scare them away. If you care, you'll bring them towards you. So that's the Exceed Shastra, from Need Shastra to Exceed Shastra. If you go through the entire thing, what is it that you achieved? From need to exceed, you will succeed. And that, my dear friends, is the 9 branch Shastras for building, not only land building, but brand building of you develop owner brands. Next. That's put in a summary, from need to seed to heed to deed to feed to speed to creed to breed to exceed, so that you succeed. Well, next. So my time is up. This is Samsika, Jagdeep Kapoor. From there, we build winning brands. Since 1995, we built over 959 companies, 2,000 brands. If there are any questions, and if there is time, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. That was a very structured approach to how to build a brand. I think it's made it very easy for all of us to understand which step is first and which step we need to move on to.